Enjoy. Do you have champagne taste with a beer budget? Do you want to vacation in a European country with a Mediterranean climate? A place with a low crime rate? Where English is widely spoken? A place where there are Roman rooms with crystal clear ocean and fresh water. Tap water is good to drink, by the way. A low cost of living, outside of resort areas, with almost a dozen national parks. If so, Croatia is for you. Croatia is becoming a hot tourist destination with a holiday season from May through September. But you can save a bundle by coming in the off-season. We stayed from the 3rd of April. I never wore a jacket even once. My wife did a few times near the waterfalls in the national parks of Krka and Plitvice. I thought the weather was perfect with low humidity in the low 70s. Croatia was part of the former Yugoslavia. Its history goes back to prehistoric times, though. In 1918, the Croatian National Assembly voted to join the new kingdom of Croats, Serbs, and Slovenes on the dissolution of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. In 1991, Croatia declared its independence. Croatian Serbs in the east of the country expelled the Croats in the west with the aid of the Yugoslav army. By the end of the year, nearly 1/3 of Croatian territory is under Serb control. The next year, in 1992, the UN set up 4 protected areas in Croatia, with 14,000 UN troops keeping Croats and Serbs apart. Croatia also becomes involved in the war in Bosnia, supporting the Bosnian Croats against the Bosnian Serbs, then against the Bosniaks, or Muslims. In 1995, Croat forces retook 3 of the 4 areas created by the UN. Croatian Serbs flee to Bosnia and Serbia. The Dayton Peace Accords were signed, ending the war. In the almost 30 years since the war ended, and much of the infrastructure was destroyed, much of the country has been rebuilt, even better than before. There is a fine new tollway that runs from the north to the south, or you can drive along the scenic Dalmatian coast. We found groceries to be cheaper than in Austria. We rented an Airbnb for $495.26 for 2 weeks in the north of Croatia, just 30 minutes south of Rijeka. Crikvenica is a town in Croatia located on the Adriatic. In April, it's a quiet place with shops, restaurants, and stores in walking distance, albeit when you return, it's uphill. The length of the Adriatic coast is 770 kilometers. That's 478 miles. Although you can travel by bus for reasonable rates, I would recommend renting a car. A U.S. driver's license is good here. You must have with you in the car, besides your driver's license, a passport and a copy of your auto insurance. After over an hour of telephone tag with my credit card company, I managed to get a copy of the policy emailed to me, which I printed out, made 2 copies, and brought with me. Although this was acceptable with the rental car agency, one caveat is if you're in an accident, the rental car company will immediately charge the damages to your credit card, and then you have to work with your credit card company to get reimbursed. If you have a high interest rate on your credit card, it might not be the wisest thing to do. You can also buy insurance from the car rental agency. If you're going to take the vehicle into Bosnia or Italy with their higher crime rates, the cost will be more. Dubrovnik is a popular cruise ship port of call. Dubrovnik Old Town was also featured in the popular Game of Thrones TV series, a show neither of us saw. I was reluctant to admit this, thinking that it might be an insult to the proud Croatian people, who do have a lot to be proud about. But many admitted to us that they had never watched it either. So it was easy for us to skip the Game of Thrones Museum and tours to go to the filming sites. Dubrovnik, on the Adriatic coast, is the most southern city in Croatia. Dubrovnik also is one of the most prominent tourist destinations in the Mediterranean. In 1979, the city of Dubrovnik was added to the UNESCO list of World Heritage Sites in recognition of its outstanding medieval architecture and fortified old town. The medieval old town of Dubrovnik is surrounded by a wall, and you can climb on top and walk the perimeter of the old town. The wall was originally built in the 10th century. It's 2 kilometers long, making it an easy stroll. As a rule, it generally takes about 2 hours to walk all the way around. They caution you about doing this midsummer and midday. There have been people that have been overcome by heat exhaustion. So when you do decide to walk the wall, bring water, a hat, and try to do it either early in the day or later in the afternoon. A popular day trip is to go to the nearby Lokrum Island. It's only about 600 meters off the coast of Dubrovnik. Because of the distances involved, we opted to spend 2 nights at a hotel in Dubrovnik and 2 nights in a hotel in Split. During my working life, I had accumulated a lot of hotel points. It's use them or lose them after 24 months, so we decided to use them. I was surprised at the modest points required to stay at the Sheraton Dubrovnik Riviera Hotel, a 5-star hotel. Looking online to check the cash price for a couple of nights, I found the price half of Western Europe, or what it would cost in the US for an equivalent hotel. One more good reason to go during the off-season. From Split, we did day trips to Krka and Plitvice National Parks. A must-see in Split is Diocletian's Palace. Diocletian's Palace is an ancient palace built for the Roman Emperor Diocletian. It was built at the end of the 3rd century AD, and today it forms about half of the old town of Split, Croatia. While it is referred to as a palace because of its intended use as a retirement home of Diocletian, the term can be misleading, as the structure is massive and more resembles a large fortress. About half of it was for Diocletian's personal use, and the rest housed his military garrison. Going to Croatia in April, we thought the lodging was more than reasonable. Even though we paid for and didn't use our Airbnb for 4 nights, we still thought it was a great bargain. I recommend that you look into Croatia for an inexpensive but wonderful vacation. For travel around Central Europe, I recommend the Flixbus. For two of us to travel from Austria through Slovenia to northern Croatia, it was $34.24 US. The bus has a lavatory, but every 2 hours or so it would stop at a station where you could buy refreshments and use the facilities.